$3.5 million in the hole. Mayor Tiffany Henyard is accused of misusing money, and today
with credit cards. As you heard me speak today in my board meeting about, I do not handle that.
Some of those charges are for you, though.
No, sir.
You didn't go to Las Vegas?
What
is that?
No, God.
You don't know if you were in Las Vegas?
Of course I do.
Did you fly first class to Las Vegas?
Any other questions?
You're not going to answer how taxpayer dollars are being spent? That seems odd.
I just answered it. What do you mean? I just answered your questions.
You said you...
Federal investigators have significantly ramped up their scrutiny of Dolton Mayor and Thornton Township Supervisor Tiffany Henyard, uncovering compelling evidence that links her to the alleged laundering and misappropriation of public funds. This marks a significant escalation in the controversy surrounding her embattled administration. In April 2024, FBI agents served subpoenas at Thornton Township Hall, requesting an extensive range of business records and financial documents from Henyard's various enterprises. These include a restaurant, a property management company, her political action committee, and a charity bearing her name. The subpoenas also sought detailed records from the township itself, covering budgets, payroll data, credit card expenditures, expense reimbursements, security detail usage, and vehicle usage, indicating the breadth of the federal investigation into Henyard's activities. Henyard has long faced accusations of misusing taxpayer funds for personal gain, including financing a police security detail and extravagant travel. One glaring example of this misuse is the Taste of Thornton Township event, which cost an astonishing $85,000 and, despite featuring performances by R&B artist Keek Wyatt and rapper Jay Holiday, the event was widely criticized for its high cost and dismal attendance, raising serious questions about financial mismanagement. Additionally, Henyard has been accused of directing public funds for private purposes, such as funding luxury vacations, and delaying the issuance of liquor licenses for local businesses. These actions led to legal action, and even a contempt of court finding against her, compounding the scandal surrounding her leadership. The investigation has expanded to focus on Henyard's close associates, with subpoenas issued for records related to township employees, including her top lieutenant, Keith Freeman, and her boyfriend, who runs the township's youth violence prevention program. The broad scope of these subpoenas strongly suggests that the allegations of misconduct go far beyond Henyard herself, potentially implicating a network of individuals involved in her questionable actions. As the investigation progresses, the evidence collected will be pivotal in determining Henyard's legal fate. If the evidence proves strong enough, Henyard could face criminal charges, potentially resulting in imprisonment. The mounting pressure from both federal authorities and public outrage is clearly closing in on the mayor, and it remains to be seen whether she will be able to withstand the legal storm that is rapidly building around her.
Planning silly games, board of trustees, and putting people's lives in jail.
Do what you want. But anything after this is insubordination.
I'm gonna remember this, because at the end of the day, I told you, you guys don't run it.
In a dramatic turn of events, federal charges have now been filed against Lee Lacy, the deputy police chief and longtime ally of Dolton Mayor Tiffany Henyard, further intensifying the crisis surrounding her already embattled administration. Since Henyard's election in 2021, Lacy has been one of her most loyal supporters, providing unwavering support during a tumultuous period. However, Lacy now faces serious allegations, including bankruptcy fraud, accused of concealing assets and income to avoid settling a prior lawsuit and deceiving creditors. His legal team denies the accusations, claiming that the charges are part of a strategic effort to coerce him into turning on Henyard, whose administration has been plagued by accusations of mismanagement, corruption, and ethical violations. This indictment threatens to escalate the mounting chaos surrounding Henyard's leadership, which has been marked by multiple scandals and an ongoing struggle to maintain control. Lacy's legal troubles only add to the growing pressure on Henyard, who has faced increasing calls for accountability, especially concerning her handling of public funds. Just last week, the Dolton City trustees placed Lacy on administrative leave in response to his involvement, signaling a widening rift within the political establishment. Despite the directive, Lacy reportedly continued to show up for work, defying the trustees' instructions. His defiance has raised eyebrows, fueling speculation about his future intentions. Some observers now believe that Lacy may serve as a crucial figure in exposing further corruption within Henyard's administration, with rumors circulating that Lacy could possess critical evidence that could significantly damage Henyard's political career, particularly regarding the misuse of public funds. There is a growing sense that his cooperation with authorities could deal a devastating blow to the already tarnished mayor. If Lacy decides to cooperate and testify, it could validate the numerous allegations against Henyard and leave her political future hanging by a thread. The indictment of Lacy, combined with the potential for him to cooperate with investigators, has sparked renewed scrutiny into Henyard's leadership. Questions are now swirling about the depth of Henyard's involvement in any financial misconduct and whether she has misused taxpayer money for personal gain. The fall of one of her closest allies could have far-reaching consequences, further eroding public trust and the support of her political colleagues. For Henyard, this moment marks a high-stakes turning point in her career. As one of her key supporters faces legal jeopardy, the pressure on her administration continues to mount. Public demands for transparency and accountability are growing louder, and all eyes are on Lacy's role in the unfolding investigation. His potential cooperation could signal the beginning of the end for Henyard's already precarious hold on power, reshaping the political landscape and further unraveling her embattled administration.
Dolton has been charged with bankruptcy fraud. Louis Lacy is accused of filing misleading statements in his 2019 bankruptcy case. Lacy is a close ally of Dolton Mayor Tiffany Henyard. He's actually the second top aide to Henyard to face federal bankruptcy fraud.
As the legal and political storm surrounding Dolton Mayor Tiffany Henyard intensifies, her loyal Deputy Police Chief Lee Lacy has remained steadfast in his support for her, despite mounting pressure from all sides. Lacy's legal team has vehemently defended him, claiming that the federal investigation into his alleged involvement in bankruptcy fraud is part of a calculated effort to pressure him into turning against Henyard. The defense asserts that investigators are attempting to find someone within the administration willing to break ranks, but Lacy continues to stand by Henyard, unwavering in the face of this intense scrutiny. While Lacy's loyalty has been unwavering, recent developments indicate that federal authorities may have gathered critical evidence that could link Henyard to serious misconduct, intensifying the stakes of this growing political drama. The ongoing investigation has raised questions about the integrity of the entire administration, with public attention focused on the potential for a major revelation about Henyard's financial dealings. The saga began with the sudden passing of former Mayor Frank Zuro, leaving the Board of Trustees with only 60 days to select a successor. As the deadline loomed, many expected that seasoned trustees like Joyce Washington or Jerry Jones would take the helm. However, in a surprise move, Trustee Christopher Gonzalez nominated Tiffany Henyard just minutes before the deadline. This late nomination raised eyebrows, as Henyard's name had not been mentioned as a candidate until that critical moment, even though she had applied long before. Her appointment, while initially smooth, soon revealed underlying tensions, especially between Henyard and those loyal to Zuro. Henyard's tenure has been marked by a series of controversial decisions, including the firing of long-time employees, creating a toxic work environment, and being accused of harassment. One of the most troubling incidents involved Township Clerk S. Pender, who allegedly locked herself in her office in a fit of rage, scattering sensitive personal documents, including medical records and social security numbers, across public spaces. This breach of privacy drew widespread condemnation and further eroded public trust in Henyard's leadership. The legal challenges continued to mount as former employees filed lawsuits against Henyard, alleging wrongful termination and retaliation. One of the earliest lawsuits came from Sandra Tracy, a former HR manager who claimed she was demoted and eventually fired after taking medical leave. Similar suits followed from other former employees, each painting a picture of a hostile work environment where loyalty to Henyard was rewarded, while dissent was met with retribution. In addition to the legal battles, Henyard's lavish spending on travel raised alarms. Over $122,000 and in travel expenses, including exorbitant costs for stays at the Marriott Marquis in New York City and the Four Seasons in Atlanta, raised further concerns about the misuse of taxpayer funds. These revelations were particularly troubling, given Dolton's growing debt, leading many to question Henyard's priorities. How could she justify such lavish expenses when the village was facing financial strain? The FBI's investigation into Henyard's administration has expanded to examine potential misconduct, including the alleged misuse of public funds for personal gain. Former Chicago Mayor and federal prosecutor Lori Lightfoot was brought in to lead a separate investigation into Henyard's leadership, revealing that Dolton was facing over $3.05 million in debt, with village credit card spending spiraling out of control under Henyard's watch. Despite these mounting financial concerns, Henyard has continued to present herself as a confident, self-proclaimed super mayor, ignoring the struggles of the community she is supposed to serve. Amidst all of this, the question remains, will Lee Lacy continue to stand by Henyard, or will he be forced to turn against her as the evidence of corruption and financial mismanagement becomes more damning? The ongoing investigations are far from over, and the next developments in this high-stakes saga promise to be just as dramatic as what has already transpired. As the pressure mounts on Henyard's administration, the future of her leadership remains uncertain. With each new revelation, the calls for accountability grow louder, and the public's trust in her leadership continues to erode. The coming months will likely determine whether Henyard will be held accountable for her actions, and whether those who have stood by her, like Lee Lacy, will continue their loyalty in the face of overwhelming evidence.